Africa Day, our president called on the nation to participate in a national cleanup. And whilst it was just beautiful to see Namibians rally so passionately behind a good cause, I was personally not about to go out and buy some gumboots and dustbin bags and spend my Africa Day cleaning up after people who know better than to litter. Also, I pay enough in rates and taxes to the city of Windhoek to ensure that they fulfill their mandate of keeping the city clean. Anywho, I cannot disagree that a cleanup campaign was necessary, but it begs the question, why are you throwing your garbage out there like that anyway? Windhoek used to pride itself on being one of the cleanest cities in the world, but look at this. Why do you want to live like this, people? I found this post on social media. Joram posted, I am not impressed by the cleaning campaign that happened today. Our country is not just dirty on the streets, so if we are to clean Namibia as a whole. Dr. Hagagenga, please clean up the government first. Our government is still corrupt and dirty. We can't always focus on petty things like the cleanest city if we are ranked highly as corrupt in Africa. It doesn't make sense to me. To conclude once again, I repeat, if we are cleaning our country, let's clean it fully. But one must give credit where it's due. So I thank all my beloved Namibians that took part in the cleaning campaign today, but it's not enough. We can do better than this. I spoke to the city of Windhoek about the steady decline in the cleanliness of the city.
It's indeed the responsibility of the city of Windhoek. Is our responsibility to make sure that the solid waste generated within the city is managed in an optimal manner. That is why we make the provision of ensuring that there is enough landfill sites and facilities where we can deposit our garbage that is generated within the city. However, as the residents of the city, me and yourself, as the Windhoek residents, or be it visitors that are coming to Windhoek, we have the remaining responsibility of ensuring that we maintain the cleanliness of the city of Windhoek. So it's very important that we subscribe to the solid waste management hierarchy. You know, our avoid, reuse, recycle, and all this towards ensuring that the environment, because if it doesn't help, that after the cleaning campaign that just took place recently, people, when they got refreshments, you could see the place was scattered with bottles and paper plates and all these things. So in the end, it means that we are not taking the cleanliness of the city with us. We take it as an event that is scheduled for the specific day, and when we are done, we leave. But cleaning the city is just like cleaning our residential areas or our homes or wherever we are, our offices or our schools, wherever we find ourselves. So it should not be a once-off thing. It should be continuous activities within our lifestyle. So we should keep it that way. Of course, there are other contributing factors as well. Insufficient infrastructure, maybe like the willy beans that, especially in our informal settlement, they don't have these facilities. We then make a provision of black plastic bags where the residents can put their waste and the city can collect afterwards. Of course, the challenge is also that by the time the city also come and collect, it could be that the dogs and kids already played around with the waste and it's scattered all over again. That is another challenge, but we are working towards mitigating that. However, the responsibility is really in that don't drink something or eat something and just throw out the paper through the window of the car or just as you are walking in the street.
Some people were a little extra, but to see my fellow Namibians putting their energy to good use warmed my heart as I watched the posts on social media. Look at this, such pride, such joy, such togetherness. And then there were these guys. Cecilia Says is up next.
I don't understand this Namibian. They cannot clean their own mess. They throw things all over the places. Does that mean if I am the cleaner, I have to clean their mess all the time? They must learn how to keep the country clean. How would the country be clean if it's dirty like this? I'm tired of these people. No. Man.
Let's see what's eating Dudley's grape this week. Last week, the international community celebrated the International Day for the Protection of Children, declared way back in 1925 during the World Conference for the Protection of Children in Geneva. And to be frank, I don't think we have done our children much justice since. The shocking stories of our children's experiences since time immemorial has been worrisome. But now in this day and age where baby dumping and child abuse are the order of the day, we really need some introspection because we are failing our children. In October last year, I broke the story of the abuse of children at the Namibia Children's Home, where black orphans and vulnerable children are housed. The home falls under the management of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, and I alerted the PS to the appalling conditions children were living in there.
I was put in the custody of a certain house mother. Her way of disciplining is by abuse. There was a time, I don't know, there was a phase where the children started smoking. She took cigarettes and she told their child to eat those cigarettes. And if their child pukes, he's gonna eat his puke. And the child was eating those cigarettes because if he doesn't, he's gonna eat his puke. And if he doesn't do that, he's gonna be discharged. That's how we are threatened. There was a girl raped. I don't know how long she was being raped by, I think she was, I'm not sure, she was 9 or 8. That boy was probably 17 or 19. That child was molested. That child was told, if we don't do it today, you're not gonna get bread. Or those certain things. The house mother didn't realize that. Why? Because she doesn't have a relationship with the kids. She doesn't come up. The only thing she comes up to do is to tell them they don't have futures. It's how she motivates them. There were kids that fell pregnant in that house because the house mother she doesn't do anything. I told our principal, please make me sit with the PS or the director or the minister, because our 2 social workers don't come here for us. They just come here to scold us and tell us we have bad manners and we don't listen. The social worker at head office knows what's happening at children's home, but like I said, she shows a blind eye. She gives a blind eye, and our complaints fall on deaf ears. They will come, they will listen, nothing happens. I want change. I know this is probably going to make them discharge me. Discharge me, but make a difference. Change Tannies Day. Because I know that workshops aren't going to work for these Tannies. These Tannies go on workshops and they're going to say, yeah, you reported me, but I'm still here. It's the truth. I reported, but if there's no change, then the Namibian Children's Home should be shut down and restarted. Management should be dismissed. There are Tannies that should be dismissed and it should be restarted, because there is no love there. There is no passion. There are certain Tannies you can really see that, no, this Tannie tries, this Tannie sleeps with babies. But there are certain that just don't. They just feel that they are underpaid for that. They are underpaid to have free electricity. They are underpaid to have free water. They are underpaid to have free accommodation and still do nothing. That's how they are underpaid.
Jackie Mola was a house mother at the Namibia Children's Home and has since left the home after being forced to do so, since life became rather unbearable for her since she came forward to blow the whistle on the abuses that the children at the home endure.
There was one incident that I reported with the social worker in my house, that one of the children that was on ARVs would want to have sex with a very small child of, I think at the time she was 5 years old, and he must have been 10, 11. I'm not definite about that. But nobody was in the house. I was outside, and something just told me that go up. And when I went up to the room, I caught them in the act, but not the actual act. I caught him while she was lying on the bed in a position that she was not even scared. She had her legs up till here by the shoulders, very comfortably, and he was just about, his pants was already down, and he was just about to climb onto her. So I just came in at that moment. And I was so shocked that I just turned around and I said she must come out of the room. She went into a room and she was acting as if it was nothing. I went outside and I was crying, and I said to my husband, how is this possible? How could I have not noticed this? We have the sexual thing amongst the small children. very, very small. I mean, really, really small. And you wonder, you report it, but you also get comfortable. You later think maybe it happened to them at their houses where they are coming from. So maybe they think it's normal. You beat them, you slap them on the buttocks, and you tell them don't do it again, and you go and report it. And I think there are some houses that the people will literally take the children to counselors so that they can be talked to. But it just stops there. The children just continues. I have small girls in my house. And even that one girl, well, it's like she is searching. She goes and looks for it. She will actually, when that specific boy is in my house, when the tanny is off and they are put in place in my house, then the children will come and tell me, Tanny, they are on the bed. They are busy. And that boy is not even 5 years old. He's maybe 4 years old. And that child is 6 years old. The girl is 6 years old. And they will practice it. You will find them in the act with their clothes on, blankets over their heads. But I've come to a point, you cannot beat the child. I will try to talk to them, and I will maybe slap them on the hand. There are times that that one boy, I will take the plucky or the belt, and I will put him over my lap and tell him it is wrong what you are doing, and I will beat him on his buttocks. But that child will just do it over and over again.
Despite numerous attempts to get feedback from the Ministry of Gender, the Legal Assistance Centre and the Ombudsman's Office last year, all I got was we'll get back to you once our investigations are concluded. It's been 7 months, and the Ombudsman John Walters concluded his report in February this year, which he submitted to the Permanent Secretary.
The conditions of the facility. Unoccupied houses were vandalized. How could we allow that state property be vandalized? The lack of proper security at the entrance gate of the children's home. I was made to believe that children can leave the premises unnoticed and enter back. The other one was that boys and girls share the same bathroom, which is all against the minimum standard, the guiding principle of the ministry itself. And at a home managed by the ministry or established by the ministry, these things are happening. So that was shocking for me. But I hope that with the report and with my recommendation, if implemented, things will change for the better. From the recommendations, security measures at the gate are unacceptable. The premises, unoccupied freestanding houses, which I already pointed out, and then we went in more detail into the minimum standard premises and environment. Minimum standard, in line with standard 13, the Namibia Children's Home should have a premise that is fit for the purpose of caring for children, be organized in a family type way with small groups and primary caregivers, have a maximum of 10 children per house, have separate bedrooms for girls and boys, accommodate children with disability or special needs by adapting the environment to be safe for the children. And then we discuss how, in which way the management of the Namibia Children's Home are not complying with this minimum standard.
I also asked the Ombudsman whether he looked into the allegations of high sexual activity amongst the children themselves and with staff members of the home, such as drivers, which were previously reported.
The one allegation of a rape of one of the girls who is or was a resident at the children's home, that was a matter which we leave to the police for investigation. It's outside my jurisdiction because it's a criminal matter which was reported to the police.
We're failing our kids. 27-year-old Helao Njaba lost his life recently and was accidentally shot twice in the head by the Home Affairs Commissioner for Refugees in Kadatura. Newspaper reports stated that Likius Valombola was held in custody for only 4 hours following the shooting, which led to outrage which Namibians expressed on social media. Whilst Helao fought for his life in the ICU at Kadatura State Hospital, those who loved him sought justice. Valombola was rearrested in Opuwo and appeared in court, and Njaba's supporters showed up in numbers to vehemently oppose his bail. Sadly, Helao did not survive his injuries, but his fate incited many to speak out against gun control and the lack of respect for the life of ordinary citizens.
Personally, about the ruling, I feel very disgraced, and the constitution itself, it's disgracing us. Personally, I myself got a ticket a few weeks ago, and then they denied me bail because I was driving under the influence, but yet today my friend was shot. He was shot twice in the head. Imagine twice and you get bail after 3 days. A lot of people in our country are here being given 30 years of prison time just because of a cow. What does our country value a human life?
All I have to say about today's hearing is I'm very disappointed. Mr. Valombola got bail, and he's going to continue with his life until sometime in future, hopefully. Our courts decide based on evidence given by the prosecutors and stuff, whether he's going to give us justice. A lot of years probably, you know. We are very disappointed. This is not what we expected at all. We marched ever since the first day, and it seems to me personally that public interest plays a really small role in the whole process that we just went through.
I'm in much shock. It's a great loss. He was something to us. He was a great person in our society. Personally, where we live, he had a printing shop that supported a lot.
This prosecution, it's very weak. Understand? It's a strong case, but when we have somebody that is very recessive, that is representing us in a case like this, there is no way we're going to win. You know, because, for example, he doesn't even know he has no information about the family. He has not been to the scene himself. So I think with something like this, we are not really going to get the justice that needs to be served. Whether he did it intentionally or not, still justice needs to prevail because a life was lost. And this is why we feel very bad. You know, in a residential area, somebody pulled out a gun and shot our brother.
We as the family respect the rule of law. We have believed in our justice system. We know it has a few bad cracks here and there, but we also understand that we as a society have to make this better. So we have to be the example and just stick to stopping violence in the community. You know, we want to keep on supporting this things like movements like Be Free. Those are good movements that we need more things like that in our country. We need to show people that we can learn how to forgive, and we need to show people that we as leaders of the country are opposing violence. You know, we are opposing people who want to solve problems of violence. If someone is stepped on your shoe or something, you do not necessarily have to take out your gun every time, or you don't even have to take out your gun. You can verbally talk to that person and come to an agreement why you are so angry. You know, we are opposing violence as a family. We do not want violence in our society. We do not believe in violence, and that is where we stand.
I spoke to Nampol's Commissioner Kangwachivi about gun violence in the country.
If you are not intending to shoot someone, don't even touch your firearm, don't even pull it out, don't even point it at somebody. Because even by pointing, it's a crime in itself. Pointing a firearm, you could be charged, and it's a serious offense. So the only time when you can use a firearm is when there is imminent danger to the life of a third party or your own life. And that decision is really, you know, it rests within the holder of this firearm. It may land you behind bars, depending on the judgment. So your judgment must be good. There must be justification that had you not used this firearm, your own life could have been compromised or that of a third person. because that threat was so imminent to the life of the third party. Basically, that's when the citizen is probably justified to use a firearm. And if it's deadly, you go through the process, because we don't say that it was in the hate of, if for the court to pronounce you not guilty. We have to take the evidence and all the factors and the witness statements surrounding the shooting or the incident, and somebody in the judiciary will decide whether you be prosecuted or not.
I also asked Kangwa Chivi what the repercussions would be for the police officer who allegedly released Valombola after just 4 hours in custody.
In general, when it comes to the police officers for the use of firearms, maybe I thought it's important to add. At times, this police officer is confronted in a situation where his life or her life is in imminent danger, or that of another person, and he sometimes has just one split second to make that decision. Failure to do that would compromise his or her life or that of a third party. So it's a tricky situation. So the judgment must be good and sober one. Coming to the allegation of a police officer allegedly release a person who's accused of murder, I believe that very case is sub judice. We are not allowed morally to talk and judge cases of people that are accused and they are in courts. So I really don't want to sort of indulge myself in discussing that. But in general, the right of an accused person to hear and to be heard, right, to hear the charges or allegations against him or her, that right is there, and he also have the right to be heard by those accusing him or her. So similarly, in the case of police officer who's accused of having done XYZ, we cannot come to a conclusion and make judgment. He also have to hear the charges against him or her, and we have to hear from that side. And I think that process, it's ongoing as we speak.
Thank you for watching. Please follow It's a Wrap with Erica Gebhardt on Facebook and Insta, and subscribe to the YouTube page to stay woke on the stories that matter to all of us.